The presence of oxygen is the absence of disease. Cancer, diabetes, fatigue, brain fog, not getting enough deep sleep, that all comes from lack of oxygen, right? So when you go to sleep and you don't have the windows open and you don't have plants around, you're probably not getting enough oxygen if you're not eating enough oxygenated foods, right? So what happens when you go to sleep? Your brain is like, gee, we don't have enough oxygen in this bitch. If we go to deep sleep, we finna die. So it's gonna send some cortisol so you wake up right before you go to deep sleep. You're not gonna go to deep sleep. You're not gonna clean out your brain. We need deep sleep to repair the body, right? And then you're gonna wake up groggy and shit. Then you might take a Tylenol PM and be like, it was the Tylenol PM that makes me groggy. Nah, bro, it's because you didn't get any oxygen and you were suffocating while you were asleep because your brain didn't tell you to wake up type shit. Oxygen creates glutathione. Glutathione creates NRF2 pathways. NRF2 pathways are how our cells are able to defecate, right? So when we eat, we have to defecate. When our cells eat, we have 150 trillion cells in our body. They also have to defecate. So now when those pathways aren't opened up, they're defecating on themselves, gang. And now it's reactive oxygen species and fucking acid just on the cell. And that weakens the cell. And the cell's like, shit, we finna die. So reproduce, gang. We gotta multiply. What's the multiplication of cells, gang? Cancer. Our cells want to create ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate, but when there's no oxygen, they have to create ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate. And how you create ADP is by adding more acid to the body. So when all these acid is around the cell, so they can create some type of energy source, the mucus covers the cell so that the acid doesn't leak to the body. But when the mucus covers the cell, it also blocks it from getting oxygen. Less oxygen, more multiplication, more cancer, right? How do we get more oxygen in our blood, in our cells, in our brain, right? First, we have to make sure our nitric oxide is straight, because nitric oxide dilates the blood vessels. When our blood vessels are this small, then not a lot of oxygen is going to be getting to the blood, right? So if you're insulin resistant, it's going to turn off nitric oxide production. So we have to lower our insulin. We need foods that support our hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is a protein that moves oxygen throughout the body. That's going to be our grass-fed beef, our liver, our chicken thighs, sardines. Chlorophyll mimics hemoglobin, so that's like your sea moss, your cilantro, your parsley. And we need to be exercising so that we can move the blood throughout the body, move the oxygen throughout the body. We need to be breathing through our nose and through our stomach. Mouth breathers live 10 years less than nose breathers, and chest breathers aren't going to be good. That's like going to be super panic breathing, super hyperventilating, anxious breathing. We want to breathe through our stomach. That's going to allow for more oxygen to get in the blood as well. We need our garlic. We need our melons. Melons have citrulline in them, and that produces arginine, and arginine helps produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is what's dilating our blood vessels. Get some plants in the crib. Be grounding yourself. Get out in nature. Be outside. We don't want to be recycling this stale ass air all the time. We want oxygen from nature. And make sure you're properly hydrated with your coconut waters, your natural spring waters. Make sure you're adding your salt and electrolytes. You're finna be straight.